If you're in the middle of a PCS right now, or you know one is coming, this series is for you. Because PCS isn't just about boxes and checklists. It's about the waiting, the unknowns, the goodbyes, and starting over in a place that doesn't feel like home yet. I'm moving into my 9th home in the last decade, and what I've learned is this: PCS isn't just a move, it's a life transition. So let's walk through it together. Oh my goodness, guys, can you believe we've made it all the way to the end of this series? If you have been following along in the PCS Survival Series, we've talked about the waiting, the uncertainty, the move itself, what it looks like to start over, and how long it can take to actually feel settled. And by this point, you might be here. You've made it through the move. You're starting to figure things out. You're getting boxes unpacked. Life is beginning to take shape again. The kids are going back to school, which feels exciting, but also we might be exhausted from the process of moving and starting over. And around this time, there is sometimes a temptation to not get involved, to not be fully present in this new place, to feel like, let me just go through the motions without actually living. And so that's what I want us to dig into today, because sometimes we don't let ourselves be present in the life that we have for a couple of very valid reasons, but I think it's important to recognize what is keeping us from feeling present in the life we have and what it costs us when we aren't. The first is when a place feels temporary. Now, I know not everybody has this experience, but the longer that you are a spouse and the more frequently you move, the more tempting it can be to check out or to become a little salty about the whole moving experience. It can be tempting to say, you know what, I'm only going to be here for a year or two. It is not worth my time and energy to invest in relationships, to settle in, to get to know the community, because I'm just going to pick up and move again. This is a completely normal feeling. It is a thought that I have struggled with a lot as we are moving into our 9th home in a decade. It's easy to not fully invest. It's easy to not fully settle in. It's easy to not let it matter too much, because what's the point if you're just going to leave? I had that experience this year when we moved to Alabama, and I knew we were only going to be here for less than a year. And at some point, I'm looking around, I'm seeing all these people and families and relationships with each other, and I start to feel like I'm a visitor watching other people live their lives, because I'm just floating through other people's built-in friendship groups and routines and systems, and seeing the kids that have gone to the same elementary school since they were in kindergarten all the way up to middle school, and seeing families that have gotten to know each other over years and years of living on the same street, and feeling like, yeah, I'll be here for 11 months and then I'm on to the next location. So it becomes easy to not fully engage. It's a pattern that I have to consciously fight against. So there's the temptation when a place starts to feel temporary. There is also a temptation to not be present when a place is just hard, when it's not what you hoped for, or it doesn't have the opportunities you wanted, or maybe it feels isolating or limiting in some way. It doesn't have the job opportunities you were hoping for, or it doesn't have the educational opportunities that you need, or the schools for your kids. It feels limiting in some way. And so instead of leaning in, you focus on getting through it, counting down, waiting for what's next. And in so doing, you put your life on hold. It's the same mindset that we have to fight against if our spouse is deploying and we start to say, I put my life on hold until they get back from deployment. It's the same story that I hear when people tell me, hey, we're only going to be somewhere for a year, so I'm not going to hang the pictures on the wall. It's too much work for too short a time. But when you don't hang the pictures on the wall, I think life starts to feel temporary. Your home starts to feel like it's just a place you're counting time in rather than fully living in. And if we want to fully live our lives, then we have to be present where we're at, regardless of where it is and regardless of how long we're going to be there. This is so much easier said than it is done. It's something that I am continually working on and being mindful of the struggle in my own life, which is why I think it's so important for us to talk about it here, because I've seen so many spouses struggle to feel like they have put their lives on hold, they have put their dreams on hold, and in the process, they've lost the sense of who they are, what brings them joy, and how to fully live a life without waiting until your spouse gets out of the service, or your spouse retires, or your spouse returns from deployment, or you get the location that you've been hoping for. We want to learn how to fully live our lives and find joy in the process, regardless of where we are. And more than anything, this is a mindset shift. The thing that has helped me the most on this journey is knowing that it is possible for me to thrive regardless of where we live. It's not something that always comes easily to me. The day my husband came home and said, I just want you to know that there is a chance that we end up moving 4 summers in a row. That was a heavy thought. I was like, 4 summers of moving in a row. That's a lot. I don't know what to do with that statement. So I went for a long walk and I thought through it, and I shifted my mindset from all the reasons I don't love that idea to how could that be good? How could that be the best thing for me and for our family? Now, in all honesty, we are trying really hard to make that not a reality because I'm seeing the impact it's having on my kids, and I would really love to get them more stability. But for me to know that it comes down to my mindset and how can I look for the good and what's possible, not despite what's happening, but because of it. And when I shift my thinking, that's when new opportunities start to open up. That's when I'm able to fully live and embrace where I'm at, even if it's not where I want to be. And like I've continued to say, I don't want this to sound like it's easy and it comes naturally to me. It doesn't. It takes lots of time and journaling and processing my thoughts. But if I can do this, it's possible for me. I truly believe it's possible for you. And if you are struggling, especially with this mindset shift, then that's what I love to coach military spouses through. I love to help you find a way to thrive and to make the most of where you're at. But I think the thing that has helped me the most is recognizing that wherever I go, I take myself with me. The skills that I have, I take that with me. The things that I struggle with, I take those with me when I move. So even if I am moving to a place that I am not excited about, and there have been those, and even if the opportunities that I want aren't there, there is always the opportunity to work on growing myself, learning how to develop the skills that are going to help lead me to my long-term goals and objectives. I can still dream big about the future, and even if in the short term, I'm not moving closer to my goals in any tangible metric, I am still working on myself and setting myself up to move towards that future version of me, the me that I want to be, the life that I want to live. There is something that I can do today that helps move me towards that goal. I can work on my physical health. I can work on building skills. I can work on getting stronger and eating better foods. I can work on my mental health. I can work on creating a home environment that I love. I can work on building relationships and friendships that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. I can work on building a healthy marriage. I can work on finding ways to have purpose and serve those around me regardless of where I live. And the more that I focus on taking care of myself and in building those healthy relationships and in pursuing purpose, the more that I find myself living filled, fueled, and full of joy. And while that is possible for me, I also believe it is possible for you. Yes, there are going to be challenges. There are going to be obstacles. There are hard things that happen in life. But the life that you and I are meant to live isn't dependent on not having hard things. It's about how we learn to navigate those hard seasons. It's about saying, what is within my control? I cannot control my circumstances, but I can control how I respond and what I focus my attention on. That's going to lead me to create a life that I actually love. And that is possible regardless of where I live. This is what I tell myself. Wherever you go, there you are. And wherever you are, be all there. That doesn't mean loving every duty station. That doesn't mean not grieving things that I have had to say goodbye to. That doesn't mean that everything is perfect or easy. It means that I am choosing to make the most of the life that I have, to pursue something that matters to me in my current season, to build relationships, even if they are temporary, and to show up fully for the life that I have right now. There are hard duty stations. There are seasons that are isolating. There are situations that you and I would not have chosen. And this isn't about pretending that those things don't exist. It's about deciding that your life matters. You are more than a milspouse. You matter. And your life doesn't have to be about just getting through. It's about actually living where you're at. Those two things are very different experiences. Getting through and actually living fully alive. And what I want each of us to take away from this episode and from this entire series is that you don't have to wait for the perfect place, the perfect duty station, the perfect house to start living a meaningful life. Wherever you go, there you are. And wherever you are, be all there. This chapter, however long it lasts, still counts. And while it feels like you're starting over because PCSing is a big life transition, your life is not starting over. Every time you move, you're carrying it with you. So wherever you are, be all there. I hope this series has helped you think through the moving process and the parts of the process that I don't think get enough attention. How it impacts us, how it impacts our kids, and how we can make the process a little less painful. If you or someone in your life is walking through a PCS right now, I would love for you to share this series with them, or just take a moment and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. That's how more military spouses find this show. I'm going to be taking a few weeks off from the podcast as we continue to get settled in our new home, which means you have some extra time to go back and catch up on any episodes you might have missed in this series. And then I will be back again this fall with more episodes to help you navigate life as a military spouse, because you are more than a mil spouse. Until next time, may you live filled, fueled, and full of joy. Hey, amazing Mil Spouse, before you go, I want you to know that I love hearing from you. The More Than a Mil Spouse community exists to help you thrive as a military spouse. Figure out what lights your heart on fire and empower you to live with purpose and impact. You can have an incredible impact simply by heading over to iTunes to subscribe and leave a review. But your impact doesn't stop there. You can empower those around you simply by sharing an episode with a friend or neighbor, someone who needs a little encouragement in this military life. And if this episode was meaningful to you, spread the love by taking a screenshot of this episode and tagging me on Instagram so we can continue to reach more people, change more lives, and shift the way that military spouses look at life. Because we are better together. Together, we can change the world. Let's do it.